The Eshar Dominion's ships descended over the colony of Cindervale like a plague of fire. The human settlement had been a peaceful one, an outpost of scientists, farmers, and engineers nestled in the green valleys of Delta III. It was supposed to be the symbol of coexistence, a human presence welcomed within Eshar borders after decades of careful diplomacy. But the Dominion did not come to welcome. The sky burned crimson as plasma lances tore through the colony domes. The Eshar fleet commander, Archlord Threxian, watched from the bridge of the Vigilant Spear, eyes gleaming beneath his silver crest. He had ordered the attack himself, despite the treaties, despite the envoy pleas. "Let the mammals remember their place," he hissed to his officers. "They breed too fast, talk too loud, and spread like infection. A cull will remind them what power truly means." Below, tens of thousands of human civilians tried to flee into the forests. Their evacuation shuttles blasted apart before they cleared the atmosphere. The Eshar Marines descended, harvesting survivors for sport. Some burned alive, others paraded before cameras for the Dominion's channels. One man, Dr. Elias Monroe, the colony's chief scientist, was captured alive. His research station had been bombed, his team executed before his eyes. As Threxian approached, Monroe stood bleeding and broken, but unbowed. "You think this ends here?" Monroe rasped. "You think humanity won't answer?" Threxian laughed, the sound like metal grinding against bone. "You misunderstand, creature. This is your answer. We have judged you, and you are wanting." He raised his gauntlet and struck Monroe across the face. The recording of that moment, Monroe's fall to the dirt, his blood mixing with the ash of his colony, would be broadcast across Eshar space within the hour. The Dominion cheered. The humans, they said, would do nothing. They were wrong. The mockery of silence. For weeks the Eshar celebrated the destruction of Cindervale. Broadcasts hailed the attack as a demonstration of Dominion supremacy. Commentators mocked Earth's weak leadership, laughing that humans would file another protest with the Galactic Council and then fade back into obscurity. In the Eshar capital of Vornath, bars filled with the laughter of soldiers bragging about how many pink skins they'd burned. Artists painted murals of Threxian's triumph. The words, "One human fell," and "the rest knelt" were etched in the plaza stone. But somewhere beyond the Eshar border, in the black between stars, humanity did not laugh. Earth did not issue statements. There were no protests, no condemnations. Every human ambassador went silent. Every channel to the United Terran Directorate went dark. The diplomats who once filled the Galactic Council chambers simply vanished. The Dominion interpreted this as fear. The galaxy knew better. The silence stretched into a week, then 2, then 3. On the 27th day after the fall of Cindervale, sensors across Eshar frontier worlds began detecting gravitational distortions. Massive displacements in the deep void, moving faster than light, moving with purpose. Still, Threxian dismissed it. Empty threats. The humans have their fleets, yes, but they're scattered. Their admirals are bureaucrats. Their ships are relics. Let them come. They'll learn their place. His officers nodded, and the stars began to go dark. The breath before vengeance. The first confirmed contact came at the Eshar listening post on the edge of the Perseus Rift. The base reported visual confirmation of an unknown formation. Hundreds of heat signatures, then thousands, emerging from warp corridors like a slow, mechanical storm. Transmission logs captured their last message before the line went dead. "They're not broadcasting transponders. Wait, signal detected. Oh God." Then silence. When Eshar analysts decoded the transmission fragments, they found a single message embedded in the carrier wave. 4 words, spoken in calm, synthesized English. "You heard our own." Across Eshar space, alarms began to sound. Fleets mobilized. Frontier commanders scrambled to respond, but the humans had already crossed the border. The Terran retaliation, Armada, a force never publicly acknowledged, never even confirmed to exist, had emerged from the void. Thousands of ships, black-hulled and angular, each one bearing no insignia but a single white mark, the symbol of a fallen colony. They did not request negotiations. They did not send envoys. They sent warnings. Every Eshar outpost received the same encrypted transmission. "Cindervale burns in our memory. You will learn why we remember." Then, the message ended. and the bombardments began. The fire that fell from Earth. The first target was Vornath Prime, a fortress world defended by 6 planetary shields and 30 orbital defense stations. The Escher commanders laughed as they prepared their interceptors. They dare strike at the capital itself? But when the human fleet arrived, the laughter stopped. Dreadnoughts the size of cities emerged from hyperspace, their engines glowing with the pale light of fusion suns. Railguns longer than mountains extended from their hulls, firing projectiles at relativistic speeds that shattered the first orbital ring before the Ishar even registered the impact. The bombardment lasted 6 minutes. Vornath Prime's shields held for 5. On the 6th, the sky cracked. The Eshar capital fell under a rain of tungsten rods, kinetic bombardments that flattened cities and ignited oceans. The human ships did not descend. They watched from orbit as entire continents burned. When Threxian's command center finally made contact, his transmission was frantic, his arrogance gone. "Cease fire. We are prepared to negotiate." No reply came, only the voice of an automated human system. Response acknowledged. Negotiation denied. Moments later, the Vigilant Spear, the ship from which Threxian had ordered the execution of Dr. Monroe, was split in half by a single railgun round. The explosion lit up the upper atmosphere like a second sun. Human soldiers never set foot on the planet. There was nothing left to conquer. The legend of vengeance. But the humans were not finished. Across the Dominion, human task forces appeared simultaneously. Hundreds of fleets coordinating with machine precision, cutting off trade routes, silencing communications. Entire Ishar sectors were isolated, their logistics shattered in hours. It was surgical, cold, absolute. The Eshar tried to regroup at Arca's spine, the location of their largest shipyards. They expected the humans to target the factories. They were wrong. The Terran fleet did not strike the shipyards. They struck the sun. Using gravitational warheads, they collapsed the star's outer layers into itself, triggering a cascade that consumed the system within minutes. Every ship, every yard, every crewman, gone in a silent wave of fire that erased light itself. In other sectors, human marines descended on Ishar worlds in dropships that screamed through the atmosphere like falling meteors. Clad in black armor with no insignia, they moved like ghosts, killing power grids, commandeering defense systems, and turning the Dominion's own weapons on itself. They said nothing. They took no prisoners. To the terrified Eshar who fled into the void, one thing became clear. Humanity was not at war. They were delivering judgment. The fall of the Dominion within 20 days, the Eshar Dominion, an empire that had ruled for millennia, was gone. Its homeworlds reduced to glowing embers. Its fleet, once unmatched, scattered or annihilated. The few surviving officers who surrendered reported seeing human ships that defied comprehension. Constructs larger than moons, with engines that distorted the fabric of space around them. They fired only once per engagement, and nothing survived. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from dozens of species demanded answers. Where was Earth? What did they want? No response came. The Terran Directorate did not attend. Their ambassadorial halls remained empty, their diplomats silent. The only thing the Council received was a single data transmission. Footage from Cindervale, of Elias Monroe's execution. And then, seamlessly edited after, footage of the burning Dominion worlds. A simple text accompanied it. We do not start wars, but we end them. The whispers in the void years passed. Trade routes reopened. The ruins of the Dominion were divided among lesser powers. And in the quiet corners of the galaxy, the story of Cindervale became legend, a myth told to frighten admirals and warn diplomats. Never harm a human, they whispered. They will not shout. They will not threaten. They will vanish into silence. And when that silence ends, your stars will too. Among the Ishar refugees who survived, there remained a single saying, etched into the surviving data libraries, carved into the hulls of their wandering ships. We saw one human fall, and watched a species rise. No one ever saw the Terran Armada again. The fleets returned to wherever they had come from, fading into the dark between galaxies. But now, Every major power kept a respectful distance from Earth space. Probes turned away. Scouts altered course. Border systems dimmed their signals. Even the most arrogant species learned humility. Because somewhere out there, in the black, a human fleet slept, and everyone in the galaxy knew what would happen if they ever woke it. The cost of mercy. A century after the fall, an alien historian, one of the last of the Ashar, was permitted to visit Earth. He expected a planet of conquerors, warlords and cold machines. Instead, he found gardens, he found oceans, forests and cities alive with music. He saw children laughing beneath the same blue sky that had birthed the vengeance which broke his people. And in that beauty, he saw the truth, the terrible duality of humankind. The same species that could annihilate empires also built worlds of light. The same hearts that could summon infinite wrath could hold infinite kindness. When he asked a human elder about Cindervale, she only said this: "We don't seek revenge. We seek balance, but if someone takes the light from us, we show them the darkness they've earned." He returned to his people and never spoke of it again. The legacy of Cindervale. In the centuries that followed, humanity expanded quietly. They took no new slaves, claimed no thrones. They did not boast of their conquest. The Terran Directorate disbanded the Retaliation Armada and sealed its records. The galaxy would never know how many ships had been built, or where they rested. But every now and then, a drifting vessel or pirate broadcast would report something impossible. Stars that vanished overnight, systems gone silent, fleets erased without a trace. When investigators searched, they found nothing, only emptiness, only silence, and sometimes a whisper, faint and cold, buried deep in the static of the void. Cindervale remembers. Epilogue. The species that rises there are species who conquer through fear. There are species who survive through cunning, and then there are humans. They endure, they adapt, they remember. The Ashar learned too late that humanity's true weapon was not their technology, nor their armies. It was their unity, their will to rise when all others would fall. When one human falls, the rest do not flee, they rise together, and the stars themselves tremble at their ascent. So now, when a diplomat or warlord speaks too loudly of conquest, when a fleet commander grows arrogant, when a tyrant dreams of power, someone always asks, "Do you remember Cindervale?" And in that instant, the fire fades from their eyes. Because they all know what the Ashar learned, and what the galaxy will never forget. The aliens saw one human fall, and watched a species rise.